All right, so we're going to move on to our next item. So you might have seen, if you've got a Netflix account, that The Punisher has come out.
Who doesn't have a Netflix account?
I mean, some people share them, I guess. But,
the parasites.
Yeah. Everyone has one, right? So The Punisher has come out. It came out last Friday. And obviously I watched it in about 4 days because I think The Punisher is one of my favourite characters because it's like no nonsense. Just you've done something to wrong me, so I'm just going to go and kill you. And so I've watched the entire series. You've watched
one episode.
One episode. So I think we've got sort of two different opinions on this. So The Punisher, if you watched Daredevil on Netflix as well, he's like a Marvel anti-hero, and there's conspiracies around him being in the army, and then the government have his family killed, and he goes after all of the people involved in killing his family and kills everyone. It's not. There will be blood. It's not a revelation. It's not a spoiler if you've seen any of the other Punisher movies, and even in Daredevil as well. The whole thing was explained. So now we're kind of in this series. We're after that, but more things start coming to light about how deep the conspiracy goes. And you start meeting some of his friends that he was in the military with, and we have Ben Barnes, who plays Billy Russo. Ben Barnes you might know from the Narnia movies. He plays Prince Caspian, and he's a beautiful man. And they very important plot. It's a very, very important piece of the plot, actually. Like, you joke about it, but it is, because they mention it and they make jokes about it quite a lot. And I was watching it with my friend last week. We had about 5 episodes on Friday night, and we loved it purely because of just the unadulterated violence. It is pretty. It's so brutal and really, really bloody, and it was great. Like, there were a couple of points where we were looking at it more critically and going, what? With your actual critiquing the film. Exactly, looking at it. Yeah, there's some gaping plot holes, but you don't care because it's John Bernthal being John Bernthal. It's the action that you're really watching for. Exactly, it's the action and the violence. So I love it.
Because I've only watched one, I can't really give a proper. And I like the first episode, really great actually. Like, it does set it off really well. Yeah. So, like, moving on to that previous Netflix films, like Luke Cage, which was a bit disappointing. Daredevil 2 was a bit disappointing. Iron Fist, they were a bit below par. Like, did you really need a whole entire series for these characters? Yeah. So would you say this one, he deserves this entire show for himself, or do you think like it could have been put in the Daredevil storyline? Like,
I think. I'm biased, but I think so, because you have all of these other characters that come in. You have another character who also everyone believes that Frank Castle is dead, and now he's Pete Castelloni or something like that. And you also have another character who's everyone believes he is dead, and he's part of the same conspiracy. So he finds Frank Castle and they team up, and they've got a really good relationship, and they've got a bit of banter between the two of them, which is quite nice. There's a really nice scene where like they're in a van, and Frank Castle's eating some like dried food stuff, like some military type, and the IT guy that he's teamed up with, the proper nerd, he's like made himself a full-on sandwich, and he's like, did you not make me one? And he's like, you didn't ask.
I'm your army guy.
Exactly, and they have a really nice.
Are there like cameos from like other shows in this, or?
Yeah, so the one that you have is Karen from the Daredevil series.
The journalist.
Yes. Okay. So she comes back into it.
The nurse. The nurse has been in all of them. She just.
No. The nurse wasn't in this one, because she spends more time in Luke Cage.
Yeah, but she always ends up in all of these shows. Like, oh, you're injured. Let me heal you.
Yeah, she's the
cheat code.
She's a cheat code. So yeah, that's her. But then you also meet some more people. There's like a Homeland Security agent who wants to investigate the whole thing, and she's very heavily involved in it. And then the main conspirator, I guess, the like Agent Orange. It's quite interesting, and it does mean that it gives it a little bit more body,
rather than just
him going around and killing people. And you get
it works, but it won't work on like for 13 episodes. You can't just watch that for 13 episodes or whatever.
Exactly. And I think it also introduces right at the end a different villain from the sort of Punisher storylines. So like a kind of Scarface type character. Cool. So it does deliver everything that I expected, basically. There are kind of things where you're like, he's been shot several times.
Just how it is in these
he should be dead, and then people like, there's a bit where like someone's beating him up, and then he's like, I want you to feel everything. So he injects Frank Castle, the Punisher, with adrenaline. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's give the like violent maniac a shot of adrenaline. So let's do that.
Would you say you'd have to watch, like, because Punisher plays in Daredevil, would you need to watch that to understand this, or do you think you watch it as a standalone and just enjoy it?
You can definitely watch it as a standalone. There's a lot of like flashbacks and like sort of dream sequences where he's with his wife and his kids. The first
episode, so many flashbacks of his wife. Okay, we get it, they're dead.
Yeah, there's like that bit where they're in bed and she gets shot, and he's like, no! That happens so many times over the series. That's the one thing I was like, okay, I get it now. I got it.
And then the first episode, I'm like, okay, I've seen this like 6 times already now. Like, okay, we get it, man. It was like in Wolverine Origins, when the second Wolverine movie where he keeps having flashbacks about Jean Grey like every 5 minutes in the film.
Oh my god, we get it. You were in love with her.
Exactly.
So
okay, well, let's look at it from the other side. Is there anything that you could have improved upon, or
like, yeah, so the sort of unrealistic things in it were sort of in your face, because obviously this is the kind of thing where he doesn't have any special powers. He's not Luke Cage.
He's just very
he's
tough.
Not Daredevil. He's like super manly and tough. And really kind of he's the same character if you've ever watched Walking Dead as Shane, basically.
Nope, I've not seen it.
So John Bernthal plays a character in Walking Dead, and he's very much like ruthless in that as well. And he plays it very well. And he was also in Baby Driver. John Bernthal. He was like right in the beginning, in the first heist. I was really disappointed there because I like him as an actor, so I was sad about that. But no, this is. I think it's a great series, and you don't need to watch Daredevil. I'd say go and watch Daredevil anyway, because it's a good series. Season 1 for sure. Season 2, if you want to get a feel of the Punisher, then yeah, do it. But
okay, right. So let's rank it. Okay, out of Punisher, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage. Forget Iron Fist. That's on the floor.
I haven't even watched Iron Fist or the Defenders, so I'd probably go with Daredevil first, purely because it's a little bit more intricate. In the storyline,
well. Yeah, I Jessica Jones in that list for her own as well. Have you seen?
Yeah, I saw half of Jessica Jones and then kind of stopped and didn't go back.
Okay.
So I'd go Daredevil, Punisher, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Put it above Jessica Jones is a good one. So
definitely. But I did like Luke Cage as well, so it is okay.
I think that's this different tangent now we've discussed.
So three words about the Punisher is like blood and violence, and it's great. So, blood and violence. That's all you need. If you just want to sit there and go, ooh, damn, all the way through.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.